Well, Mark, nice to speak to you after a big win on Saturday. How's it been having a full week of training following a victory?
Well, I think it's always more enjoyable, isn't it, when you win a game? It gives renewed enthusiasm and puts everyone in good spirits. But you're only as good as your last game. We need to remember that, and we go into a really difficult game at the weekend, one we're looking forward to, but a really difficult one. We understand that.
And have you noticed a sort of increase in the confidence in the training sessions just from getting that win?
I think what you get is added enthusiasm, bit more of a bounce in their step, and they're more open to learning and ideas. So, yeah, it's been a good place to be this week.
Oh, good to hear it. And have you got any sort of injury updates? I know Richards Everton obviously missed out last week, and then we've had a bit of a longer journey for Lawson, Charlie and Morgan. Are there any updates on those?
Ben Richards Everton and Josh Staunton both had injections this week, so they've not trained yet. Morgan Williams is back training this week, as is Lawson Daff. So we've been without Ben and Josh, but we've had Lawson and Morgan back. Whether they're ready to feature yet is another matter.
That must be quite tough for you, particularly Josh Staunton being, your captain and so influential. But I guess getting Lawson back is a real boost because he's an experienced player when you're missing those experienced heads. I
think the more good players you've got at your disposal can only be a good thing. The more the better. So, they add to the group, they add to the quality, and it's important. It'd be great if we can get everybody fit. And raring to go. Charlie Wakefield's injured again. That was the other one.
It's a shame for him because he's had a tough season, hasn't he? And he's got in and out as well.
He's got real attributes that we could use at the moment, but not to be.
And ahead of Notts County, lots of build-up for this game. I'm sure you've seen that there's going to be 16,000 people. First of all, that is just remarkable for the fifth tier, isn't it?
Fantastic, isn't it? I think we're all looking forward to the atmosphere and what that brings, and it's a great achievement by Notts County to be able to attract that many fans, and I think it's a little nudge in our direction at where we should be looking to be, and there's no shame in trying to strive for that, which is certainly where we've got to look to be. But I think it's a game we're looking forward to. There's not really any pressure on us. We can go and enjoy ourselves, but you enjoy yourselves more if you get a result, that is for certain.
Like you say, I'm guessing the players are relishing the challenge. A lot of them do have Football League experience, and it will be like a Football League game, won't it?
It will, yeah. It's a great stadium, it's a great pitch, and we're playing against a really good team. So, like I say, they're all looking forward to it.
And following Saturday, going into playing top of the league, away from home, of course, how big was it mentally for over the last two games to get out of the bottom four? Because psychologically that must really boost you.
I think that it's important we go game by game. That's certainly what I'm trying to do. The 3 points, of course, make things look a lot better, but there's a long way to go. So any points we get at the moment are really important, and we've got to keep trying to strive to get as many points as we can, quickly as we can. So what the 3 points on Saturday will do is give us a little bit more belief, and put us in a better place going into a difficult game at the weekend.
And tactically, do you have to approach this one a little bit differently to playing sort of a team nearer the bottom of the league? I mean, Notts County lost just once this season, scored 49 goals. You're going to leave gaps if you take the game to them, but also you want to get the result. Is that a fine balance you've got to strike?
I think it's important that we take every game on its merit, and we're not at a stage yet where we can have a real true identity as to what we do, because you need a pre-season to do that, in my opinion, and that evolves over time. So at the minute it's about trying to find the best way to get a performance and give us a base to build from to be able to be competitive in the games, and and that's what we're trying to do. And we'll take each game as it comes. We're playing against a really good team. We know that. But they're in the National League, so we will have chances to hurt Notts County. And as much as we will respect and we know how good they are, we have to concentrate on us as well and put a plan in place that gives us a real opportunity.
Because you actually did that, didn't you, on Saturday when you went 1-0 down? You sort of changed the shape slightly. Did you find at this period where you've come in mid-season, you've got to do a lot more of that managing during the game, not just, you know, in the training pitch in the week?
I think there's a lot more in-game management. You know, certainly when you're losing and you've got to try, and as the players are struggling, you've got to try and help them along. And when you're winning late on, we have to try and make sure that we're not going to get done on a counter-attack and things like that. So there is a lot of work. It is a tough 90 minutes. But yeah, that's what you do it for.
And I imagine you've been pretty happy with the substitutions that you made on Saturday, made an impact, and you've got a few injuries there, but is that a positive that you've got sort of that breadth of squad to look at and trust them and bring them in?
Yeah, I think ideally you want all the boys to play because they get disappointed when they don't, and that's what they're here for, is to play football. I think it's really important they all realise that they're valued and have got a role to play, and like I said after the game, they've got to be ready, and if they do come on for 20 minutes, they've got to come on and make a difference, and that's what you do as a good pro. You make sure you're ready no matter what to come on and affect the game, and we'll need that again on Saturday, definitely.
And when we spoke at Woking, it felt like the squad was at bare bones. I mean, you've got a few injury problems, but you feel like bringing the new faces that you have brought in, that you're in a better place now?
I think it's given us a lift. I think it's given the players a lift because they've got a bit of help. So ideally, we want to do more of that. We want to try and improve and bring more quality to the squad, not necessarily to replace, but to help and improve us. So we've got one or two bumps and bruises, but we don't know if they're going to make it yet or not. But listen, we want to be competitive, and whatever team we put out Saturday, we will be.
And you mentioned it briefly before, Notts County, of course, relegated the same year that Yeovil were. They're now sort of flying high, both on and off the pitch. And is that sort of where you look and think that's where this club could get to?
I think you have to do. I think you have to have an intent and a plan of where you want to go. And it's important that we start doing that now. And we don't want to be little old Yeovil anymore. You know, this league, we should be one of the big clubs. We should be being talked about. Chesterfield, Wrexham, those kind of clubs. We should be in the same breath as those, because it's not so long ago this club was in the Championship, and there's not many of those teams can say that.
And we spoke to Matt Worthington before. I know you worked with him at Forest Green, and you definitely brought him into a more advanced role. Are you sort of looking at the whole squad and thinking how you can sort of adjust and get the best out of their game?
I think that's what you have to do. We're just trying to find a way, I think it is at the minute. We're just trying to find a way to get more out of the players. And Matt Worthington's got tremendous athletic attributes. So, you know, we need him to run through the middle of the pitch and create opportunities, which he did on Saturday. You know, I don't really want him sitting back and not being able to use his energy and his athleticism. So it makes sense for us to let him off the leash and let him run. And
just one other player I want to mention. There was a lovely moment on Saturday with Grant Smith and the supporters. It's been a tough season for Yeovil, but he's been pretty consistent. And unless you're winning games, the goalkeeper doesn't really get too much credit. But he's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's been great since I came in. I've seen him play over the years, and I think he's getting better. I think goalkeepers do, don't they? As they get older, they get more mature, and he's definitely getting better. So I'm really pleased with the goalkeeper.
Have you been sort of pleasantly surprised with what has been there already that's signed on in the summer? And you just had to sort of bring in those attacking positions, that you already had a pretty decent squad.
I think there's a little bit of an imbalance to the squad, which we're trying to address, but listen, the players have been great. You know, they've worked their socks off every day. Some will be disappointed because they've not played as much as they want to or think they should, and that's only natural. But it's important that they all realise that football changes really quickly. You know, 1 minute they're out of the team, the next minute there's an injury or somebody's ill, they get in the team, and they have to be ready. So I can only praise the players' attitude and commitment since I've been here, and there's some quality in there as well.
And just lastly, it does seem like they have quite a close bond, which isn't always the case when the team is struggling, is it?
No, that is one thing that was quite surprising, was the group feel to them. They were quite, like you said, they were quite tight. And I think when you're at an outpost as a club, which Yeovil is, that they usually all end up living in the same place. So they're not going off to Birmingham or London, they're there together all week. And I think that only encourages a real bond between the group.
Thank you so much, Mark, for your time, and good luck Saturday.
Thank you, pleasure.
Mark, one of the questions I asked you last week was, do you think you can reach the promised land? Well, in the terms of the question, you have reached the promised land. The question now is to stay in the promised land, and do you think you can?
Depends what the promised land is.
Well, 3 points as it was last week.
3 points is, that's. I think, like I said, it's taking every game as it comes.
Yeah.
I don't think we can look any further forward than that. I think it's dangerous if you look further forward than that. I'm sure most managers and players up and down the country work on it. Of course, it's great. We want to be in the playoffs. We want to get promoted, but that's
a long way away.
That's for the birds. We have to just focus on the next game, and that's a really, really good Notts County team.
Now, you said on Saturday after the game against Gateshead that the stadium was very tense, but I'm assuming that once the goals went in, it suddenly sort of relaxed and everybody enjoyed the game. That's what winning does for you, doesn't it? And surely the knock-on effect to the players is that you're going to stay in the promised land, as it were.
I think it's human nature. If you've not won for a while at home, that the support has become edgy, and it's our job to get them off. Like I said, it's our job to get them off their seats and to get them behind the team. It doesn't just happen. That's just nature. There's not many clubs in the country where you go to where the fans, no matter what the score is, sing all the time. I can only think of probably Ellen Road where that happens, or what I've witnessed. So you have to give the fans something to cheer about and to get behind the team.
Ever since I've watched football, which is a long time, a lot longer than you've been involved in it, I've always loved this spectacle of two wide flying machines.
Yeah.
Now, it would appear that you've got two flying machines, wide players. To me, that is football. I love seeing a winger getting chalk on his shoes and getting the crosses in. Are you kind of heading for that direction now? Because you've got your Alex Fisher in the middle, big man, ready to score the goals. You've got Lewis Britton coming in as well now. But with those two on the wide, do you think you've got much more potential to score goals now?
Well, I think at any level, pace can hurt teams, can't it? Or it can put the opposition on the back foot. And defenders are frightened of pace. And I think when you come into a club, you have to assess the squad and try and find the best way for the team to play. And for me, with the players that we've got, it was to try and get the ball wide, get some crosses in the box, especially with Fisher. So that's what we've tried to do.
Well, you worked on Saturday, that's for certain. You've obviously seen Lewis Britton a little bit now. He's at the club and training with you. Are you happy with what you're seeing? Can you see more goals coming now?
Lewis is just an out-and-out poacher. So he needs balls in the box. He needs things flashing across the 6-yard box that hit him on the back of the head or the backside and go in. He's that type of player. He's not one that's going to run past 5 players and do 6 Cruyff turns. He's just a goal scorer, and I think every team needs one of them.
Sort of a Jimmy Greaves type.
That kind, yeah.
Yeah.